Sometimes making some of the most beautiful, whimsical pieces that you could doesn't come down to trying to make very complicated wraps as much as just taking your time and gathering and collecting beads and stones that you really, really enjoy looking at, until finally, one day you can just put a few together and then put a few more and then move them around until you just find a whole story in how they go together, how they talk to each other, how each one kind of highlights differences in the other. So this is 10 millimeter blue crackle agate. This is an oval, it's probably 10 millimeters by about 14 abalone seashell piece drilled straight through. 6 millimeter amethyst, 6 millimeter flat shell piece, similar to the abalone but a little simpler, and a 4 millimeter pink cat's eye. It looks almost like rose quartz. We're just going to use 22 gauge, it's very simple, and we're just going to do one piece at a time. Start with the blue crackle agate. I'm going to take about 9 inches, might be too much, it's okay. And it's just very simple, just bring it to the middle, just make a crimp and a crimp, take your round nose pliers, make kind of a medium-sized loop, roll it in tight, hold it like this and turn it around 180 to lock it in, making it super tight. Do the same thing on this side. There's two ways. You can fold that like that, or you can just hold the loop like that and wrap the wire really tight. Either way, it locks it in. Now we're going to play with these a lot, and we're just going to make them kind of face the same way, be straight, not be crooked. Just take your time, just enjoy it. And then we could just go alley-oop and fold these around and wrap them around the next loop, but we're going to go alley-oop diagonally. So this is going to come, and we're going to have fun with it too. We're not going to just go straight. This is going to come up like, it's going to tease like, oh, I'm going to go right up, straight up to you. No, I'm coming around here. Woof, I'm coming all the way around to the back, and now I'm going to wrap around you, Mr. Loop. So whimsically teasing. And now just wrap around and wrap around and wrap these stacks higher and higher until you feel like it looks very pretty, but you still have a little bit of room in the loop to put a connector. Cut the wire halfway across. Tuck it in. Little baby going to sleep. And now we do the same with this one. This one is coming around to go right to this loop here, but no teasing. Whoa, we're coming all the way around here. Whoa, what's happening? Oh my goodness, I'm out of control. Somebody stop me. Now I'm gonna wrap, and you can get more crazy with that. You can go woo, you can do little whimsical swirly swirls before you get to the next part. You can do loop-de-loops in there. Have fun with it, because it's all going to lock in once you wrap it around the loop there, and then you tuck it, and it's all going to be strong and stable. And so you can have little whimsical fun parts. I did the very simplest, pretty much. I just went around diagonal like whoosh. But now no matter which way it spins, it's going to look pretty. And so that's that. We're going to do the same thing with this abalone shell. Such a pretty little abalone shell, look at that. And we don't want to obscure any of the, it looks almost like an oil spill with a rainbow. If you've ever seen oil spill in the street and it just takes up all these rainbow colors. Anyway, again, just take about the same amount. I don't know, it's about 9 inches. It's like 22 centimeters, something like that. And bring it to the middle, make a loop in a loop. Well, actually first, fold them backwards. Your loops will be straighter if you fold them backwards and then make your loop come the other way. Instead of if you just go to make your loop right away, it's gonna lean over one side. But by folding it backwards and then pulling it back, it centers the loop. It's just a weird thing in physics. Don't ask me, ask Newton why it's that way. So I'm gonna get this round nose in there and make our loop and roll it. When you roll it, it makes it extra tight. And then you lock it in. Like I said, you can lock it in the way we did before, or you can just wrap it tight around there and it's locked in. And you can just go around once like that is fine, or you can go around twice. I'm making each of these loops about the same size as my 4mm bead, in case you're wondering. You can make them bigger or smaller, it's totally up to you. But you want them facing opposite ways when you're done with these two little arms coming out. And these we're just going to wrap around the periphery, but we're going to do our best to make it straight, but it's still going to take a bit of a curve as it comes around, and we're going to wrap it around the periphery and then come around and start wrapping it around that loop, same as we did the other one. But very simple, really. Just wrap around the periphery and zoop, and just start wrapping these guys and wrap them until you get up as high as you want, and then cut them and tuck them. Always cut them halfway across the loop so you get a good tuck. Whew. There you go, camera. I feel like the camera gets drunk every time before I turn on the video. It's like the camera sees me coming in. It's like, oh, got 2 more minutes to down the rest of this beer. Don't want to be in my right mind so I can focus on what he's doing. I just want to act all woozy. Always make sure your sharp ends are tucked very tightly and deep. And you can always check them, look at them, test them. If one looks close to the surface, go like that, rub it, make sure you don't feel a scratch. If you do, go back and fix it. If you can't fix it, no matter how many times you try, take the wire off and do it over. It's better to have a piece that won't scratch someone, because you don't want to lose a friend just by giving them an earring. That's a weird way to go about it. Okay, so these guys are going to do pretty simple too. Again, just take about, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 inches, about the same amount. Just slide them onto the middle again. Correction, this time we're going to move them all the way to one end, like that. You actually need less wire for these, but whatever, it's fine. Give yourself about 1 centimeter, about 1/2 inch, and then turn it that way, and then roll it backwards. And I actually want a smaller loop than that. I took too much, so just gonna cut a little. Not hurting nobody. Not hurting nobody. I want a teeny little loop. Not too teeny, but a little bit smaller. Nice and tight little loop. This loop is not gonna hold on to anything. It's just kind of decorative and just to help hold everything else. So now press the beads tight against that loop, and now we bend it and make a normal size loop that's a little bigger. Actually, no, this one can be small too. The benefit of small loops, besides they look tight and they're stronger, is they pull the pieces closer together. If you have a really big loop, then your pieces are farther apart. Sometimes it's nice to have the pieces tight together. It looks good. So we're gonna just wrap these diagonal. You wrap around like this. Just let it rest in the crevice behind it. Wrap around diagonal. Rest in the crevice behind it. Wrap around diagonal. It just feels natural. And then we wrap around, and this bottom bead we're gonna wrap around like a couple times to lock it. And do the same thing. Just 2 times is enough. If you can fit 3, go for it, but I made that pretty small, so 2 is about what we're gonna get out of it. Make sure you're cutting just the wire you want to cut. Just tucking that little baby in. Tuck the baby in. Good night, little baby. Get some good rest tonight, okay? You here? You need a bottle or anything? You good? You a good little baby? Okay. Make sure your loops are all facing the same direction if you want them to. I like them to, because then I can line everything else up the right way. Even though they're going to spin once they're on someone's ear, eventually they're going to come to rest. And if you line them up right, when they come to rest, all the prettiest parts will face out. But these are going to be pretty from every direction pretty much, so you don't need to worry too much. Okay, now we just put them together like this, and we just put some jump rings to hold them together. That's pretty much it. So easy, right? So easy, and yet it took me a few weeks of saving up different beads until I got the combination just right. And I'm gonna use 4mm little jump rings. I'm gonna double up the jump rings because that makes it stronger and it kind of looks cool too. And the jump rings doubled up. You can triple them too, kind of mimics the scarf. It's like a cool look. And I'll just put a hook at the top, boom.